Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Now listen, Scotty is back at the IHOP that he started working at. The manager that was there before had gotten fired, and there was a new manager there, and Rachel was friends with her. So she hired Scotty back to work. But see, Scotty had gotten used to that fast money. And him and Rachel was dating and spending time together, and he was still trying to go to school, but he was struggling. He couldn't get it out of his head how hard things seemed to be now. Now keep in mind, now he had this job before, so he knew the ins and outs of it, but everything seemed harder now. Everything seemed harder now. It was the money that he was making before. It was fast money, good money, long money. And it allowed him to do a lot of things that he would normally not be able to do on the money that he was making from IHOP. So in his mind, working at IHOP seemed harder. Yes, he was living with Rachel now. All of the things that they wanted to do, she was still going to school. Like I said, he was struggling, still going to school. But his life, he wasn't happy. He had gotten a taste of that other side of life, and he liked it. Even though it had put him at risk of losing his freedom, he liked it. And in his mind, what he had now wasn't enough. He didn't appreciate that. He didn't like it. So after a couple of months of grinding and doing the things that IHOP that he needed to do, getting in good graces with the manager that was there and Rachel and everything was happy, Rachel thought everything was fine. He calls DJ. Now, part of the probation that he got, part of the probation deal that he got was to stay away from any drug dealers, gang members, and particularly DJ. DJ is on the police radar. He cannot be hanging around anybody like that and be on probation. And he got to keep this job. But he's trying to figure a way around it. See, that's what a lot of people do when they get caught up in the game, and the game is good to them as they think it is anyway. They want to figure out ways to make it look like they're legit, but then they're not really legit, and it just makes them feel discontented. They don't like the situation that they're in. So when DJ came to the house, Rachel sees it. She don't like it because she didn't even know that he was making this call. She didn't even know that he wasn't happy with what was going on. She had no clue. She thought that their life was going the way it needed to go so that they can be happy. She wanted to marry this man one day. So DJ's sitting in the living room and they're talking, him and Scotty, and they're talking about the good old days. And Scotty tells him, man, I want to get back in it, but I can't. Not in this town, not in this city. So DJ tells him, look, I know people everywhere. I got spots all over. You can get in one of those spots. And Scott is asking him, where, how far, and all of this and that, and what do I have to do? He said, you'll do the same thing that you was doing at the spot that you was at before, but you'll be in a different location, and the money in this spot is just as fast. He said, the only problem you're going to have, you got to go to work every day. He said, you won't be able to do that. So Scotty, he thinks about it. He tells me, I'll get back at you later. I got to figure out if I can make it work. So that night, he talks to Rachel, and he's trying to convince Rachel that the best thing for him to do is to go and work this spot a couple of days a week so they can get this money and then they can move on. He's convincing her the way a lot of people in the game try to convince the person that they're with. Look, this is for us. It's not going to last long. Just want to make a little money so we can get ahead of the game and then we don't have to struggle. But Rachel's telling him we're not struggling now. She don't see what he sees. She don't see this struggle that he's talking about. It's an illusion. He's trying to convince her of something that's not happening. She's trying to tell herself, should I believe what he's saying or should I believe what I'm actually experiencing? But she loves him. So she gives in. She said, well, maybe if it's just for a couple of days out of the week, because she wants him to be happy. She don't need the money. She said, but maybe if I can convince my friend, the manager, that I have to just let you work 3 days a week instead of 5 days a week. Maybe that'll work, and then you can go do what you do, and then you can go to work, and then you can still be straight with your parole office. and he kisses her and he makes love to her that night because he's happy. He feels like that his manipulation has worked. You see, that's how the game will do you. That's how the game will do you. It'll make you manipulate somebody that you love and care about into doing whatever it is that you want them to do. But see, in your mind, you're saying you're doing it for you and her, but it's not. You're doing it for yourself. But you got to tell yourself that it's for y'all, so you'll feel all right. So Rachel goes to work the next day and she talks to the manager, and the manager says, well, I guess so. I can do that. Now the manager, you got to keep in mind, the manager, she understands, you know what I'm saying? She's dated a couple of guys in prison, so she understands how it goes and how hard things can be. And so Rachel is pouring on the same lie that Scotty poured on to her, saying that they're struggling a little bit. He's got to be able to try to get another job a couple of days out of the week and do some things. And the manager knew what that meant. The manager knew what that meant. If this man got caught up on the charge of possession, he was finna try to hustle a little bit on the side some more, try to get a little bit of extra dough, and all these types of things, right? So she understood and she said, okay, I can do that. She said, but what I do know is that I got to turn in this slip every week to the PO to let him know that he's working every day, not 3 days a week. So she said, you need to tell Scotty that so he'll understand what he's getting into. So she takes that news back to Scotty and tells Scotty. Scotty panics because he's thinking everything was going to be all right, but now he's got to convince the manager to forge the paperwork. See, everybody gets sucked in when you start doing this stuff. You got to have a lot of people agreeing with your nonsense. So he convinces Rachel to go talk to the manager again. And this time, he decides to offer the manager a little bit of change, and she takes it. So she's going to make the books look like he's there every day, but he's not. She's going to make the books look like he's a good employee, working them 40 hours a week, but he's not. Now, she's just the manager. This is not her money. This is the people that own this place's money. So she tells Rachel, if I'm going to be taking this risk, it's going to cost him. Because if I get caught, it could cost me my job. So Rachel said, look, why don't I just let y'all talk and I'm getting out of this, because this was becoming too much for Rachel. She's not used to this. She didn't want to be involved in all of this in the first place. She's just doing this because she loves him and he's taking advantage of it. So Rachel tells Scotty to come down to the store, to the shop. And when he gets down there to the IHOP, he goes in the back and he's talking to the manager and he explains to the manager what's going on. And she just tells him, let's get to it. If you want me to do this, you're going to have to pay me. Because if I get caught, I'm going to lose my job. So he agrees to give her $100 for each day that he's not there. And that's a lot of money. $100 for each day that he's not there. Plus, she said, I keep the money that you make for those 2 days, them 8-hour days. I keep that too. You get your check, you cash it, you get that back to me. He agreed to that too. Because he's making so much money, or gonna be making so much money, that ain't gonna even matter. So she's making out. She's making out. So now everything is set. And the money's rolling in. He's in this spot where he's making all his money, him and DJ, and everything is good again as far as he believes anyway. But Rachel is not happy at all with what's going on. She's nervous every day that she's going to get that phone call and he's going to be telling her that he's been caught up and he's arrested and he's back in jail. And she's got plans for him. She wants to marry this man. She wants to be with this man. She wants to have kids with this man. And she has plans to be a nurse one day. She don't want somebody that is going to be in the streets that like taking all of these chances. And lo and behold, what she fears the most comes true. What she fears the most comes true. He's in this spot in this other city and he gets caught up. Now let me tell you something. When you are already on paper and you catch another case, guess what's going to happen to you? 9 times out of 10, that case is going to run consecutive. We call it running wild. I mean, you got to finish one and then you got to finish the other. So he already got 8 years. And when you on the streets on probation, sometimes they give you the street time, sometimes they don't. And when I say the street time, all that means is while you're on the street, those days you're on the street, that's eating into your sentence. And if they give you that, it counts. If they don't, it don't count. That means if they're not going to give him that, when he goes in front of the judge, they're going to say, your 8 years start today. It don't matter if you've been on the street 6 months or 6 years. If they don't give you that, don't credit you that, your 8-year sentence starts over that day that you go in front of that judge and get sent to the penitentiary. Now you got to deal with that and the new charge. So when he goes in front of the judge, he got caught up with some more dope. Now he's in another city. Everything is crumbling. The manager at the IHOP is scared because the PO came through there and asking a lot of questions, turned that information over to the police. Now the police is asking questions of the manager. Now the manager flips on Scotty and tells them folks that Scotty threatened to come through the place and beat her up if she didn't make it look like that he was at work every day to satisfy his conditions of parole. Nothing is looking good. Rachel is upset by it because now she's got to work here. She doesn't have any options. She's stuck here with somebody that just contributed to, wait a minute, didn't she contribute to Scotty going to jail? No, she did not. Did she lie? Yes, she did. Did she take the money? Yes, she did. Who put these dominoes up? Who set these dominoes up? Scotty set these dominoes up. Who knocked that first domino down? Scotty set that and knocked that domino down. And when that domino got knocked down, it set in motion things that were going to happen. Could have been a different outcome. Could have been that the manager decided to not tell anything, but the manager had to save herself. Ain't that how things go? Self-preservation. So now what? Rachel is stuck working for somebody that she blames partly for her husband, her future husband, going to prison. And Scotty is on his way back with a new charge, plus the 8 that he's got to do. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? So now, with the money that he's made, Rachel goes to get him a lawyer. But see, she gets him a different lawyer this time. She gets him a different lawyer. Somebody that she feels can fight and will fight for him. She wants him out. She wants him out. She don't want. She's not looking at the situation as it is. He's out there selling drugs. She wants him home with her though. Why not? Why not? But this lawyer tells it's going to be a fight. It's going to cost money. It's going to cost money. And Scotty's got a lot of money put up. He's got a lot of money put up, and he don't want to give it all to the lawyer. But she's telling him we can get this money back if we just work hard and keep our nose to the grindstone. But you got to get free. So she pays him. But the lawyer doesn't do anything near what he told her that he would do. Now Scotty's got an 8 to do, and he's got a 6 behind that. 14 total years to do. 14. Depending on the percentage that he's got to do. So Scotty gets shipped off to jail because he wouldn't say anything about DJ. See, that's the part that the lawyer and Scotty didn't tell Rachel. They wanted DJ. But he wouldn't say anything. So when Scotty gets to prison, he runs into this brother named K. See, K is the big homie, the OG, over the gang that DJ's a part of. And K, he greets Scotty with open arms because DJ is called and told him, man, this man is a stand-up dude. Stand-up dude didn't say a word. Even though he got another lawyer, he still didn't say a word about it. So K's looking at him like, this is the type of guy that we need. This is the type of guy that we want on the hood. So they approach him. And see, let me tell you something about a lot of times when you get approached in that way, they can see if you cut out for it, or they can see that you're somebody that can be an asset in the way that they see the asset. You understand what I'm saying? People define it in different ways. Whether they want to use you, take advantage of your fighting skills, take advantage of your drive, your determination, your smarts, whatever. K wanted him. But he made him feel like he really didn't have too many options. Either you join with us or you're going to join with somebody else. And if you join with us, you're going to be straight because we already know that you're solid because DJ stamped you. So guess what? he joins them. And they jump him in. When I say jumped in, they put hands on him. You know what I'm talking about? And now he's one of them. He's one of them now. And he tells Rachel all about it. Rachel is upset. She wants to see him, but he don't want her to come to prison. He tells her, don't even send in the form. Because at first he sent a visitation form, but then he changed his mind. Don't send the form in. Don't send the form in. He's got bigger plans for her. He needs her to take care of things out there. But Rachel wants to see him. She wants to see him. But see, Scotty, he's smart, ambitious, and he likes things a certain way. Now, when you get a taste of that fast money, where they put you and all this and that don't stop nothing. I know a lot of people think it does, but it don't stop nothing. The only thing that's going to stop you, anybody, from being a drug dealer is you. They can put you, no matter where they put you, you already know what it is. If you're a hustler, you're going to get it. You're going to find a way to get it because your situation is going to dictate that you find the words to say and the moves to make, and then you're going to get that thing rolling. You know I'm telling the truth. You know I am. Man, I done seen it on Max. I did it. Back in the day when I was on that nonsense, it didn't matter if I was on Max. When I say Max, I mean maximum security. Somebody going to shake the spot. They can say what they want to say. They can put up metal detector. They can put up all kind of drug detector machine. They can have dogs running around. It ain't going to matter. You walk in the pod, you going to smell it in the air. It's going down. Somebody got it. Where there's a will, there's a way. And Scotty had that will. And he was going to make a way. So the same way he had manipulated Rachel into believing that he was going to be doing what he was doing out in the streets a couple of days out of the week was for them. Now he's still on his manipulation. He said, look, what I want you to do, because I got a little time to do it. And he didn't want to lose her either. He understood way more than most people wanted to give him credit for, that it's got to be some physical contact. You know what I'm talking about. Let's just be real, right? Either you're going to get that physical contact in that VG, or you're going to get that physical contact another way, or you're going to get that physical contact at work, whatever the case may be. See, but his whole thing was to hold her, keep her near him, right? He didn't want to do the phone sex thing. He didn't want to do that, because that'll do it for a while, because it becomes about more than this, that. It becomes about that commitment. But he didn't want that. He wanted more than that. He had to manipulate her. So he told her, he said, look, I got a plan. And she said, I'm listening. And he said, no, I got a couple of letters headed your way. They're already in the mail. I need you to read them. Really focus on what I'm saying. And then let me know what you think. And she said, I will. She said, but can you give me any indication as to what you talked about? He said, no. He said, but I need you to take serious what I'm saying. And he said, it's going to solve your problems at IHOP, and it's going to solve our problems as a couple. She's getting excited by this, right? Because she's starting to think that maybe it's a chance, maybe he's going to get out of something and he needs me to do this or that or whatever. And whatever it is, she was willing to do. She didn't care what it was. She just wanted to know, what role do I play in this, and so I can see my man. That's what she was on. She wanted to see her man. And whatever she had to do to see her man, she was going to do it. As soon as she could do it. She just was waiting on the letters. So it took a couple of days before the letters got to the house. And when the letters got to the house, she ripped them open and she was reading them. And she's reading so fast, she read over parts of it, so she had to slow down and read it again. And basically, what he said in the letters was that I need you to apply for a job in the Department of Corrections. And if you apply for a job in the Department of Corrections and you say that you want to work at this facility, you'll be able to see me. So when she read it, she was like, can't do that. They're going to know. Now, he anticipated that she would be thinking that way. So he told her also in the letter They have no idea that you are a part of my life. And you request a certain facility when you go through the training. He said, I've already checked into it. And they pay more than what they pay at the IHOP at that particular time. And we'll be able to make some money too. She wasn't concerned about that. She knew that was his added thing to it. She just wanted to see her man. Now, this was a big letdown for her because she thought it was something else. But then she thought about it. The years that she was facing without actually being able to see him, without actually being able to touch him. And then it changed her mind. It changed her mind. And she convinced herself this was the best thing that she could do for the time being. So she did it. She wrote him back and she said, I'll do it. So she gave it a couple of days, and when he called her back, she said, did you get my letter? And he said, yeah. So she said, I've already filled out the application, and I report in 2 weeks. I got to go through training. And then after that, I get to pick where I want to go. So they continued to talk. He said, make sure no connection. She understood exactly what was up. And if you want to know how this turns out, you know what you got to do. You're going to have to listen to the next episode. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.